Tonight, snowstorms. School buses canceled across the Peace region today. Measles exposure. Staff and students notified at a school in Fort St. John. And suspicious. Firefighters knocked down a vehicle fire in Dawson Creek. Well, good evening and thank you for joining us. We begin tonight with the first major snowstorm of the season. Around 10 centimeters of snow fell on the Peace region over the weekend. And this morning, most school buses across the region were canceled due to poor road conditions. However, schools in District 59 and 60 both remained open. Now, this comes after light snow yesterday, then a mix of snow and freezing rain this morning. Environment Canada also issued a snowfall warning for the Pine Pass area along Highway 97. That warning is no longer in effect. The weather agency saying no further precipitation is expected for the rest of the week. Well, Northern Health warning parents about a measles exposure at a school in Fort St. John. The health authority notifying École Central Elementary about a measles exposure at the school from November the 5th to the 7th. Health officials say individuals with measles are contagious 4 days before and 4 days after the characteristic rash starts. Symptoms typically begin 7 to 21 days after being exposed. Northern Health says vaccines are the best way to stay safe, and they're urging parents to make sure shots for everyone in the family are up to date. Northeast BC continues to experience severe to exceptional drought conditions. The federal government says most of the region received normal precipitation in the month of October, but it adds it wasn't enough to fix years of below normal rainfall. Parts of Northeast BC have seen very low soil moisture and stream flows in the past few years. Last month, BC's drought level indicator went to level 4 in some areas of the Peace region. That was among the worst drought conditions in British Columbia. Many other regions across the province have seen their conditions improve during the month of October. During that time, Dawson Creek had to implement water restrictions due to the drought affecting its water supply. The Stage 3 restrictions remain in place. A new Indigenous-led housing project will add 23 affordable homes in Fort Nelson. The Fort Nelson Aboriginal Friendship Society leading the redevelopment of aging housing. The project reflects a for Indigenous, by Indigenous approach. It'll feature modern homes reflecting cultural values designed by Indigenous organizations. The redevelopment is being funded through a $29 million investment being made to the Aboriginal Housing Management Association for a series of projects. The CEO of the association says the funding has supported community needs. Construction gets underway in January. Well, firefighters in Dawson Creek responding to a suspicious fire on Sunday. Fire officials say crews were called to a single vehicle fire shortly after 2 in the afternoon. It happened in a parking lot near 8th Street and 115 Avenue. Officials say when firefighters arrived at the scene, a truck was fully engulfed. Crews were able to quickly knock down the blaze, limiting damage to properties nearby. Fire officials say the fire is considered to be suspicious and it remains under investigation. Animal cruelty charges are being recommended after a 4-year-old dog was found tethered with a heavy chain wrapped around its neck. The BC SPCA says the owner at the rural property near Prince George surrendered the dog to an officer earlier this month. The organization says the dog was immediately taken to a veterinarian hospital. She had to have emergency surgery to remove the chain, which became embedded in her neck. It says the dog required 14 stitches to close the wound. She has been giving medication to help manage the pain and fight off any further infection. And an animal sanctuary in the Okanagan is pleading with the Canadian Food Inspection Agency to spare its peacocks after an avian flu outbreak forced the cull of 15 chickens and ducks. Critter Aid in Summerland says they immediately shut down their farm after several chickens tested positive for H5N1 a few weeks ago. They say their peacocks have been completely isolated from the affected area and have no direct contact with other birds. The sanctuary adds they are still waiting for the CFIA to make its decision. A group of First Nations is calling on the federal government to put a pause on the commercial fishing of herring in the Strait of Georgia.
We actually brought some reality to their situation. We pointed out that there is no herring in our territory. And the last of it is out there in the Strait of Georgia, in the Salish Sea, and we want to save that. We told them that we want to save that. It's right on the precipice of collapse.
The group is calling for a moratorium from the Department of Fisheries and Oceans on commercial herring fishing. They say the herring are a prey fish, and commercial fishing could cause long-term effects if herring are not available for predatory creatures like seals and whales. They are also claiming it's a violation of their constitutional rights. TD Bank has settled a human rights complaint filed by a member of the Heiltsuk First Nation who is also of South Asian descent. The man's identity was questioned when he tried to open a bank account back in 2022. After filling out some forms online, Sharif Mohammed Banji went to a TD branch in Surrey to complete the steps in opening a bank account. He says the teller believed the Indian status card that he presented as photo ID was fraudulent and he was turned down. So we filed a human rights complaint, and the bank has agreed to a settlement. It includes general damages, funding for the Heiltsuk Nation support team in Vancouver, and improved staff training around Indian status cards.
It means just a new beginning and putting closure and putting this behind me, and hopefully finding that these solutions will bring some better, response and service for people.
As part of the settlement, Bamji and TD Bank executives took part in a traditional washing ceremony in Bella Bella. It's shown as a form of restorative justice that acknowledges harm and allows the party to move forward. BC's government has presented a plan to secure $200 billion of new investment by the year 2035 in a bid to drive economic growth. Premier David Eby says the Look West plan has ambitious but achievable goals. It's a mix of resource projects and targeted pushes in the marine, aerospace, and artificial intelligence sectors. The plan calls for the opening of as many as 4 new mines in British Columbia or expanding existing ones. It also looks to secure 35% of federal defense vessel construction contracts. The vision also outlines a goal of expanding the provincial tech sector by 75%. Well, Canada's inflation rate cooled slightly in October, dropping to 2.2%. Stats Canada says cheaper gas prices and groceries helped bring the numbers down by 0.2%. Gas prices fell at a faster rate in October compared to September as fuel retailers switched to cheaper winter blends, and grocery prices fell 0.6% in October. That's the biggest monthly drop in more than 5 years. However, there was a rare increase in the cost of cellular services. Stats Can says they rose by 7.7% last month, the first price hike in that segment since April of 2023. Well, the federal Liberals are looking to pass the budget tonight, just hours before the vote. We learned they'll be getting some support from the Green Party. The government, though, still needs opposition support or some MPs to abstain from voting. Mike Couture has the latest.
Now, the Liberals don't have the votes just yet, but it would seem the numbers are shifting. Here's what we know right now. The Bloc Québécois and their MPs have already indicated that they will vote against this budget. Conservatives have hinted strongly that they will do the same, but the Liberals, by mid-afternoon, did get one more vote on their side.
I will vote yes to avoid an election. I will vote yes in the confidence that the Prime Minister heard my pleas and committed to meeting our legally binding commitments under the Paris Agreement, committing to reconciliation, committing to action for adaptation to protect us from the extreme events we can no longer avoid.
Now, the key here is the NDP and their 7 MPs. They have not indicated just yet which way they will vote, but the math is pretty clear. The government either needs 2 abstentions or 1 more opposition MP to vote for their budget. If they don't get either of those 2 scenarios, the government could fall because this is a confidence vote. However, Mark Carney, the Prime Minister, early today, seemingly confident that he will be getting the votes, saying that this budget is the right one for this time, and he believes that it will pass through Parliament.
What Canadians want is to invest in their country. A confident budget, a budget that moves forward, brings us together from local infrastructure to new ports, new future, more independent, stronger Canada, better Canada for all. And that's the opportunity for parliamentarians to vote today.
Now, all eyes will be on the House of Commons at 6:45 Eastern Time. That is when this vote will happen, and that is when we know if Prime Minister Mark Carney's government will survive. Mike Lecouteur, CTV News, Ottawa.
And as he waits for MPs to vote on his first budget, the Prime Minister held a First Ministers meeting today. Mark Carney discussing the ongoing trade war with the United States. And Ontario's Premier says the conversation was positive.
It was good to get together. I recommended we do it more often. We do it frequently, making sure we're all speaking off the same song sheet. And we're gonna have a discussion more frequently than it's been a little while. But I want to thank the Prime Minister for traveling around the world and getting Canada out front.
Today's virtual meeting came after the First Ministers last met in July. It comes after President Donald Trump canceled trade talks with Ottawa over an anti-tariff ad that the Ford government paid to run on American networks. A brand of baby formula is being recalled today. The Canadian Food Inspection Agency is warning about certain By Heart organic baby formula because of a link to cases of botulism in the United States. The company recalled all of its products sold in the U.S. last week. The affected products include the 680-gram container and the 238-gram package of By Heart Whole Nutrition infant formula. According to the CFIA, the products were distributed online. In an unexpected reversal, U.S. President Donald Trump is now urging fellow Republicans to support the release of more Epstein files. And as Olivia Rubin reports, a vote is expected in Congress tomorrow.
Today, the House back in session and all eyes on tomorrow's vote, a bill to release the Jeffrey Epstein files. Democrats pushing to make those files public.
The survivors and the American people deserve full and complete transparency, and Donald Trump just needs to step out of the way.
And with some Republicans expecting the bill to pass, the president now shifting his position on the issue, writing on social media, House Republicans should vote to release the Epstein files because we have nothing to hide.
I don't. They can do whatever they want. We'll give them everything. Sure, I would. Let the Senate look at it. Let anybody look at it.
It's a reversal for the president, who just last week had privately sought to have the effort blocked and has gone back and forth on the issue for years.
We want an investigation. I want a full investigation. And that's what I absolutely am demanding.
I'd be inclined to do the Epstein. I'd have no problem with it.
I don't understand why the Jeffrey Epstein case would be of interest to anybody. It's pretty boring stuff. It's sordid, but it's boring. I don't care about it, released or not.
Renewed scrutiny of Jeffrey Epstein, a convicted sex offender, coming after the House Oversight Committee released thousands of new records last week subpoenaed from the Epstein estate, some mentioning Trump by name. In one 2015 email, Epstein offered a reporter a photo of, quote, Donald and girls in bikinis in my kitchen, though it's not clear if he possessed such photos. The White House has said the newly released records, quote, prove absolutely nothing, other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong.
But don't talk about it too much, because honestly, I don't want to take it away from us. It's really a Democrat problem.
And President Trump can also order those records to be released at any time, though he has not done so. Olivia Rubin, ABC News, New York.
All right, after the first major snowstorm of the season, Noah will be right back with weather to see if there's more snow in the forecast. Stay tuned.